Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, original. Chapter number 2, text number 67. Indriyanam hi charadam yanmano anuvidyade tadasya harati pragyam vayor navam ibambasi. The Indriyas, the senses, wherever it wanders. Charadam means wandering. The mind goes behind that senses. The eyes may look upon some beautiful things. It can be beautiful sunrise or sunset. In the autumn season, you can see the leaves turning into different colors. You get very much attracted to that. Or you see a beautiful mountain with full of colorful trees. Or you see waterfalls or beautiful valleys. Or you see the full moon. All these things are beautiful. And you see even a beautiful woman, a beautiful man. As soon as you look upon and your eyes get in touch with that beautiful form, immediately the mind goes behind that, and mind become absorbed on that beauty. It can be anything in this world. Similarly, the sound vibration, it can be any classical music or Bollywood or Hollywood songs, rock, pop songs. There are various ragas, thousands of melodies. As soon as the ear goes behind that particular sound, the mind becomes absorbed on that particular sound. Similarly, the taste. If you have tasted some food from somewhere, at some homes or restaurants, you remember that taste, because the mind actually absorbs the essence of the delicious food. So keep it in subconscious state of mind. When mind also wanders behind the senses, naturally the material intelligence also goes behind it. So here the Supreme Lord actually says that is the nature of the mind and intelligence and senses. Once the mind is absorbed, tadasya haradi pragyam. Haradi means snatch away. Pragyam means your spiritual intelligence. If you are somewhat spiritually inclined and spiritually engaged means devotional service. The spiritual life begins from worshipping the Supreme Lord in any forms. He has different kalas and incarnations, Gunavataras, Satyavesha Avataras, Leela Avataras, like that. The purpose of all these avatars to teach dharma, right? So you might be absorbed in spiritual consciousness. But here, as soon as one of your senses absorbed in one of the material sense objects, it takes away your original consciousness or spiritual intelligence. Haradi pragyam. Pragya means also consciousness and also spiritual intelligence will be taken away. Vayor navam ivambasi. Just like on the water, there is a boat, but the sailor can sail properly as long the wind is favorable. But a heavy wind can toss down the boat and kill the sailor. The violent wind. Vayor means wind. Navam means boat. Ambasi means water. Ivambasi means on the water. Just like a boat can be tossed down by the violent wind, a person who is in sthita pragya can be carried away by a sense which look upon a material particular pleasurable object. So that particular sense can take away the person's pragya, haradi pragyam, the spiritual intelligence, because of the mind's absorption in that particular pleasurable sense objects. It can be sound, it can be taste, it can be smell, it can be touch, it can be form. So therefore, dhyana yogis, they half close their eyes and meditate on the Supreme Lord's form, because fully closing they may go to sleep. If they fully open the eyes, then the eyes go behind some forms, beautiful forms. Thus, they do the pranayama. Pranayama means inhaling the entire air and holding them. So once you do that, your thinking power will be lost. You are thinking different objects of the senses because you are breathing. By inhaling the breathing and you hold them, you can do that even now. And hold it, your mind will not think. So therefore, the dhyana yogis adopt that dhyana yoga. However, this dhyana yoga is not recommended in this age of Kali, because it is practically impossible. People want some easy process. Mandasu mandamadayo mandabhagyam ubadrudaha. Srimad Bhagavatam explains that in this age of Kali Yuga, the people have manda buddhi. Lazy intelligence, foolish intelligence. They can't do anything that is supported by the hard and fast rules. They cannot take it. So dhyana yoga is a very difficult thing. Understanding this, the Absolute Lord advented in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, having the bhava of Srimati Radharani and keeping himself within as Lord Sri Krishna, advented in 1486 in Navadvip, Mayapur, and inaugurated the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. For this age of Kali Yuga, the easy process to achieve perfection is to just hear the holy name of the Lord. It can be congregational chanting or it can be individual chanting on the beats. By chanting and hearing, Kali Kale Namarubam Krishna Avatara. In this age of Kali Yuga, Krishna advented in the form of his own holy name. The holy name of Krishna is absolute. It is not like any other relative truth. For example, any other names of a materialistic person or any other names of any material object or materialistic person is absolutely different from that object and person. For example, if we take a drink called Fanta or Coca-Cola, chanting Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, you don't get purified. Or if you take your neighbor's name or a politician's name or anybody who you are very much favorable to, or they are favorable to you, you like them. But chanting their name, you will not get any fruit. Say even if your own parents, grandparents, photo is there, you are worshipping every day by garlanding them, offering flowers or food and water, it won't actually reach them. Maybe the absolute truth on behalf of you may have to carry that to that particular person, but that person himself may not be able to accept your offering. It is Krishna who helps you to reach this offering to that person. So in that case, everything in the material world, everyone in the material world with material body, conditioned by their own material activities. Therefore, they cannot be everywhere simultaneously. And also, they are not same with the name. Say water, water, water. I cannot satisfy by drinking water simply by taking the name of water. I need the substance water because water is material. But spiritual articles and spiritual personality like Krishna, Rama, Narayana, Vasudeva, Narasimha, Vishnu, they are all spiritual personalities. Therefore, they are absolute, they are non-different from their name. So if you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because this name is not part of this material world, it is coming from Goloka. Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. From Goloka, this Premadana, Dhana means wealth, the love of wealth, is distributed in the name of Harinam to everybody. So chanting the holy name of the Lord is the base method for our human perfection in this age of Kali Yuga. So if we are constantly absorbed in chanting and hearing and following the regulative principles which I have mentioned before, regulative principles are like government laws and orders for the obedient citizens. They follow that laws and orders by which they become the best citizens. Like that, the devotees of the Lord listen to the acharyas and Krishna himself. In that way, our intelligence will be fixed in devotional service, and it cannot be carried away by any of our senses and sense objects. Why? Because our mind and intelligence is full of spiritual knowledge. Even if you see a beautiful thing, a delicious stuff to eat, or hearing a beautiful music, you will not show any interest in it because it's all material things. So therefore, our mind and intelligence has to be filled up with spiritual activities. Just like the samosa is stuffed with all these dry fruits and green peas and potatoes, then it is called wonderful samosa and packed together, right? When you put it in the oil, it doesn't burst because you strongly sealed it. Like that, your intelligence has to be nicely sealed with Krishna consciousness. Then it will not be carried away by any material attractions, which is important. Every attraction of the material object is bondage for you. You will be bound in this material world. So therefore, it is simply hallucination and illusion. So let us try to stay away from all these material attractions and look for an eternal life where we do not need to change the body at all. We get a permanent body. That will be explained in the upcoming verses. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.